Hi and welcome to the Love Island Lowdown. We're here to give you all the latest from the Love Island villa. We're going to go straight in with the most recent episode, which was the parents' visit to the villa. So what did you think of the parents' visit in the villa then?
I thought it was great. I think we needed those happy, positive vibes. We've had a lot of drama the last week and it just felt like a very wholesome, lovely episode.
Yeah.
I think an interesting point was Jess's mum sort of bringing up the fact her friends and possibly her, they weren't 100% sure on Sammy. But I can kind of get that from their point of view, they've kind of seen everything, so yeah, they might not be 100%.
Yeah, that stood out a lot for me as well, and I'm just wondering what this will mean for Jess. Will she talk to Sammy, ask him, what is it that other people are seeing? Because obviously they were in the bottom of the votes for a few times, so the public are seeing something, her friends are obviously seeing something, so what is it? She's not there when he's having his conversations with his friends, so what is he saying when she's not around? And I'm just wondering, will this be the moment that she kind of opens her eyes a little bit and kind of, stands her ground and says something to him? I know she spoke to Ella yesterday and obviously Ella was like, it doesn't matter, you're with him, it doesn't matter what your friends think, but I kind of feel like it does matter.
I think so. I think you could see the little spark of doubt in her mind. I think she's a bit of a warrior, and I think, I get it. I think if my friends were saying I'm not sure, I kind of, I value their opinion. They know me really well. And if they're not 100% sure, I'd be like, well, why aren't you?
I feel like it's quite unfair because obviously they're at a good point now. They're exclusive, they're boyfriend and girlfriend. So a lot has obviously happened and passed, but just because she doesn't get to see the same things that we get to see at home. So she hasn't been able to be upset about those moments, and it's her friends are obviously feeling that for her, so it's just a kind of weird and awkward place for her to be in, really.
Yeah, definitely. I think they'll kind of work through it. I think it'll just niggle her in the back of her mind. I think once they're out, her friends will probably meet them all and it will be fine.
It was nice to see the family, but I just feel like there wasn't enough telling off. I feel like a few people needed a bit of telling off and they didn't really get it. Tyreek, Sammy, even Mitchell.
They got off quite lightly. I did notice Molly's dad pulling Zach aside, just for, a little one-on-one manly chat.
So moving on to our Factor 50 forecast, where we give you our predictions for the week. As we're moving into the final, we're going to talk about the couples and who we think will be making the final this year. So we've got all these couples, there's 6 at the moment, but as we know, only 4 make it into the final. Who do we think's getting there? Let's start with Scott and Abby.
I can't see them making the final. Yeah, there was seeds of doubt in the last few episodes. I just think they're not 100% there. They're not as solid as some of the other couples. I can't see them being in the top 4 for me.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like they are probably one of the next couples to be going home. I think it's unfair. They haven't had as much time as everyone else.
Yeah,
so
true.
Naturally they're just not going to be as strong as everyone else. But they've had a bit of doubt, and in the most recent episode, it looked like they were about to be done, and then the parents came in, and it seemed like that helped a little bit. But will it be enough to get them to the final? I don't think so.
Yeah, no, I'm not too sure.
Well, moving on to Mitch and Ella B. What do we think of them? Could they be our finalists this year?
I also can't see them being in the final. I think, to be honest, they're either going to go next or Scott and Abby will.
Yeah.
I just think I'm still not 100% sold that they're super into each other. Yeah. I'm not sure it's going to work on the outside.
Yeah.
And again, they haven't had as long, so maybe it's a bit more difficult to sort of, put them on par with someone like, Whitney and Lachlan, who have had a lot longer. But yeah, I'm not 100% convinced about those guys either.
I agree. I will be so surprised if they continue dating outside of show. Honestly, it will shock me. And I'll actually be really happy for them. Okay, so, you guys are really genuine. I didn't see it, but,
Yeah, I would be surprised if they carried on too.
Yeah. Well, moving on to Jess and Sammy, do we think they could be finalists this year?
I definitely think they could be finalists. I think they've had, that classic journey, ups and downs. I think it really makes you feel invested in them when you're kind of watching that journey with them, and you're kind of rooting for them because you're like, oh, they've been through so much, come on. And now they're boyfriend and girlfriends. Yeah. So yeah, I definitely think they could be in the final for me.
Yeah,
for sure.
I feel like they'll be top 3, honestly. Yeah? I feel like they could really go far. And I think that they will even survive outside of the villa for a while. Don't know how long, but I think.
I could see them working outside. You just never know how long these things are going to last. Is it 6 months? Are they going to get engaged? Who knows?
Moving on to Molly and Zach, what do we see for these two?
I think they could be in the final. They're probably the one I'm most unsure about, whether they'll make the final or not. I think, like, we saw obviously Molly give Zach the bracelet she bought for him.
That in? That's contraband.
Yeah, I did think that. Like, some special treatment going on there for Molly. Yeah, but I'm hoping Zach's kind of learned from his mistakes and he's learning, and his communication seems to be improving. I think Molly is possibly a little bit more invested than Zach. Do you get that vibe?
She's deep. Like, she's in it.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think they are great together.
Yeah, I think they do like each other, but like you said, I think Molly is a lot more invested. I just, like, Zach is so chilled all the time.
He's so chilled.
I just don't know where he stands.
Yeah.
Like, does he want to make this official? Is he ready to, like, take the next step in their relationship? I definitely think they're finalists, but yeah, whether they'll make it to the top 3, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
Moving on to Tyreek and Ella.
Yes.
Obviously, they said I love you last week. So, you know, I think they're finalists, but where do we think they'll finish?
I mean, that's a massive step, I think, just saying I love you. I definitely think they could be top 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, again, they've sort of had their journey, so you feel a bit more invested in those guys. I think they're really sweet together.
Yeah.
I think Tyreek himself has had a massive personal journey.
Yeah, he's grown so much. Yeah. I'm very surprised. Like, I didn't see it happening.
It's
honestly.
nice.
I thought he was going to be joining Destiny's Childish, honestly.
Yes.
I didn't think that he would be, like, coming out like this, like, with a girlfriend, potentially.
Yeah, I mean, he was looking to go that way, and then he just did a big U-turn, and now he's just all in for Ella. So I like them. I would like them to be in the top 2 for sure.
Yeah, to be honest, I want them to win. They're my winners. I would really love them to win. I feel like they're so made for each other.
Yeah.
They're a really good couple. I know they've had their fights, a lot of fights, but I do think they're very well suited, and I think they really do like each other. So for me, like, they're winners in my eyes.
Yeah. Nice.
So lastly, Whitney and Lachlan, what do we think? They were voted the favourite couple by the public. Could they be the winners this year?
I think they're probably the strongest. I do think. I think it's going to be really close. I'm still kind of like, obviously Lachlan had his little, he hasn't had a wobble, but he doesn't seem to, you know, be wanting to progress it and close it off.
Yeah.
Obviously we saw Whitney's sister come in and like, be like, what's going
on? He had a chat with her, and I feel like he said, I want to make it exclusive, that's what I want to do. And then he spoke to Whitney, and then kind of like, it's like he got scared, he didn't do it.
I thought that was going to happen, and then they kind of just had a chat. I wonder if Whitney thought it was going to happen as well.
I feel like she did. I feel like she told her sister for a reason, and her sister was like, okay sis, I'm going to go and do the job for you. And then he just didn't, you know, fulfill his end of the bargain, and I'm not sure why.
Yeah, I don't know. I do feel like, I think he's slightly more invested than Whitney.
Okay.
And I think they could work on the outside, but I think a lot of it will come from Lachlan. And I think as soon as he takes that step, he'll be in it 100%.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they'll be top 2 for sure.
Yeah. Oh, well, we'll have to wait and see, won't we?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for tuning into the Love Island Lowdown. We hope you enjoyed. Please tweet us and let us know your thoughts.